Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to take a look at the Bark River Forrest Scandi. Stay with me. Welcome back, guys, on a beautiful Memorial Day. First off, we're going to be looking at the Bark River Forrest Scandi here, but before we do that, I want to just say a big thank you to, all the veterans out there, especially the ones that, paid the ultimate price, for our freedom. And it seems like nowadays, people just they don't know the value of things. They're sitting back and just letting it all go. I don't know. Anyway, this video is not about that though, but again, veterans, thank you. So what we have here is the Bark River Forrest Scandi, and this is going to be the first production run. Okay, so we're going to be having looks like an overall length of about 8.5 with about a 3.5 inch blade on it. The thickness of the blade is just a little bit over 1/8 of an inch. It is CPM 3V with a scandi-vex grind on it. This particular model was actually sent for me to review by a subscriber. Thank you. You know who you are. I don't know if you want me to say your name or not, but this particular model does have the carbon fiber bolster on it with the red liners on it, and also the turquoise inlay, which looks to be probably what they're calling an ivory handle or a vintage handle, with the brass pin and lanyard tube in it. Also comes with the leather sheath, which Bark River does really good leather. Also has the ferro rod loop in it, and as always, a pretty good knife. I haven't used it yet though. We're about to see what we think about it. Also, if I might just give a few critiques, and to the person that sent me this, don't think this is trying to be offensive towards you, but I just got to show a few things. And of course, this isn't you, this is Bark River. I get so aggravated with things. I mean, can you see how, like right here, it's just not sanded well, and right in there in that dip of the handle, you can actually see grind lines. Look at that. Now, I mean, this is not a cheap knife, I mean, you can see there, first production run. But yeah, this is not a cheap knife. I mean, this is a probably almost $300 knife. Now, does that have anything to do with how good the knife is? No, it doesn't. But what I'm getting at is, for a semi-handmade knife that's supposed to be top tier, I feel like they could do a little bit better job than they do, especially with things like that. So that's just a gripe I have, because there's companies out there like White River that their stuff is perfect. You won't have any of that, and you can't say that that's because it's handmade. No, that's because that's a lack of good quality control. That's a lack of the person grinding it not paying attention, okay? That's simply nothing else. But that aside, let's try this thing out. So, of course, it is a Forrest Scandi, they call it. So this does have a scandi-vex grind on it. And, of course, that's wonderful. I mean, that's slicing just great. Bark River does always do an excellent job on their edges. I mean, I've never had a Bark River that, came dull or anything like that. But yeah, that's just great. And one nice thing, the shape of the handle in your hand, of course, is Not gonna allow for any kind of hot spots, obviously. It's a nice wide handle. And this is what I would call a hidden tang knife. So it's probably mostly full. I mean, I don't know, probably comes actually to about in there somewhere, a half, you know. But again, this knife, you know, being it is smaller like this, it's not gonna, you know, you're not gonna be batoning gigantic pieces of wood that are gonna require, you know, you to have a completely full tang. Now, I mean, even though this knife does have a shorter tang in it, I mean, I have no doubt that it can baton, you know, things within reason. And I've got a few pieces over here that we will do that. Because, I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to baton through, you know, anything real big anyway. I mean, you're going to be looking at maybe something, you know, 1.5 inch wide, 2 inch tops, you know, so. But yeah, the scandi-vex grind, that's just going to be a Scandi grind, but done with a convex, you know, instead of a flat. So that's all that is. But personally, I really like a convex edge. And these scandi-vex edges do a great job. I don't, you know, I'm not going to say they're better than a regular Scandi grind, but they work real well for me. They sure definitely seem to be a stronger edge than a regular Scandi would be. But yeah, that's great. And you can see that, I mean, you can just take the smallest little pieces off of there that you want to, and actually almost getting this thing to be completely round without even, you know, like scraping or sanding or any of that. Of course, it's not perfect, but I mean, that's pretty darn good. You can see that's a real nice round tip. I'd say that'd probably be a pretty good little spoon carver. What about if we want to do some notching? Let's do some notching here. Let's see. We'll take our notch this way. The old baton that's seen better days here. Oh yeah, no problem taking out chunks there. So, you know, you could very easily make, you know, your triggers for traps, or, you know, your spoons, your bowls, your pot hangers. I mean, you know, you can make anything you wanted with this. Of course, I know it's going to make feather stick pretty good. But let's get this notch cleaned up here. Just a little bit. There we go, not too bad. Knife, you know, works great, but there you go. Just a quick little notch there. Perfect. Perfect, gotta love it. Great. Absolutely great. Let's, before we do any notching, I mean, any feathering, let's go ahead and baton up. Now, of course, these are smaller pieces, which this is more along the lines of what you're probably gonna baton with a knife like this. Just enough to get your little kindling going here. We'll split this stuff up. Also, I thought this knife was appropriate for today with the red, white, and blue there. And again, thanks to the fella that sent this in for review. He also sent in some other knives, some LT Wrights. We'll get to those here soon, which is gonna be great. Those are also great knives. It's hard to beat handmade American quality, you know. I mean, yeah, the finishing wasn't the best on, you know, parts of the handle, and, you know, maybe I'm nitpicky, but for that kind of money, you know, well, let's just say this knife was 250 bucks, you know, because comps online, there wasn't a whole lot of them left to even get, but comps online were the higher end materials, but they were still running, you know, 250 to 300, let's say. So I would definitely say that this knife was in that same realm, you know. So for a knife like that, I mean, you shouldn't have to be very nitpicky, you know. So, but that's just me, you know. Everybody is different. Got a couple of knots there I'm kind of rolling over, which if you've ever tried to feather, you know that knots are not good. Not good, get it? Other than that, though, I mean, it's great. You know, it's easy to find the grind on it, and it'll just take the tiniest little bite you want. Go a little faster here. So, you know, I mean, that's plenty good. Plenty good there. And it does have not a super sharp spine, but I bet it's sharp enough to get some shavings and get some sparks. So let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. Now I will say it's not the sharpest spine I've ever messed with, but it is more than adequate to do the job. Now if the wind doesn't blow away my shavings there, got some fat wood on the spine there. Hopefully that won't affect our ability here to get some sparking. Let's see. I like this method here quite well. There we go. That method works almost every single time. Very nice, very nice. Well, I like it, guys. I think it's a great knife, you know. I mean, well suited to do what you're gonna want it to do, you know, in the woods. Hence the name, Forrest Scandi. So I don't know what else we should do with this knife. I think that pretty well kind of summed it all up, and I don't think you'd, you know, be mad if you were to pick one up. It felt great, you know, no hot spots on it, great edge. You know, I have no doubt it's still extremely sharp, because obviously CPM 3V holds quite an edge for quite a long time. So also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and make sure you do that, because we will be having a giveaway come up here real soon on as soon as we hit 1,000, and I believe we're closing in on the last 100, so maybe even more than that. I didn't check, but yeah, so if you're not subscribed, get subscribed, and stay tuned. We'll have a lot more coming on some other real nice knives and stuff. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care.